Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and in one of my last videos I was playing you a clip from Linda P. Jones' channel where she had interviewed Jimmy Valley, and he was basically talking about how he thinks of XRP, and he was talking about how central banks and the G7 and all these people would be talking about, and he didn't say the word, but I think the gist of what he was talking about is that XRP could solve the transportability problem of gold, and that he believes they would be having these type of high-level discussions. This is kind of what my thought pattern's been for a long time too. Well, this is an old clip that I put out from Lynette Zhang, okay, about gold and what she thinks about what they're doing. And then on the other side of this, there was a while back there was a Bloomberg video that was put together that talks about CBDCs and the transportability problem of gold. So how else would you do this, folks? Listen to this. I want you to, this is well worth your listen. Listen to this.
Now, it certainly does look like Bitcoin is going to survive this.
Oh, and the other part of this is it was never Bitcoin. Just write that down, folks. I've said it many a times. It's never Bitcoin. All Bitcoin's ever going to be is a store of value, because the people that were the original billionaire investors or whatever, they said, look, we got to fix this. We got to come up with a narrative. And so they came up with store of value because they knew it was going to be left behind technologically.
Now, it certainly does look like Bitcoin is going to survive this. But at the end of the day, when we get that inflation and they reset the current currency into the new currency, do you think they're going to reset it against Bitcoin or Tesla stock or even real estate? No. They reset it against gold money because it has the greatest functionality of any asset. It is used globally in every single area of the economy. And it's finite. And it's indestructible. So we can account for pretty much all of the gold that has ever been mined. And there's more than 4,800 cases of currency resets. And 100% of the time, they do it against gold.
Now, folks, I think we can all agree at this point, there is going to be a monetary reset of this world. The U.S. has no choice. The world has no choice. I believe that reset involves gold, possibly silver, and XRP and XLM, and nobody's going to change my mind on that. I've been in this game too long.
With central bank stimulus weakening the dollar and gold being only about $100 short of its all-time high, a question has started to arise: can gold replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency? The dollar has enjoyed this status for decades, but since it detached itself from the gold standard in 1971, it's essentially consistently weakened on a macro level. Confidence in the U.S. government and the political system in the U.S. is one of the keys, and gold doesn't have that issue of a loss of confidence. But what it does have is a problem with transportability. That's why it's more likely that a currency backed in gold, or even a digital asset backed in physical gold, could potentially replace the dollar much more easily than the actual physical bar of gold could.
There you go, folks. That's why I keep talking about my sponsor, Glint, because I'm not just buying gold in my Glint account. I'm buying gold that I can actually spend because I have my Glint debit MasterCard. I buy almost every week in my Glint account now, but I also buy physical gold, which you can do from Glint, and I also buy physical silver too. Okay, there's a link to this in the top of the description of this video, by the way. Uh-oh. Look who we have. We have the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, and he's weighing in on
Senator Loomis. While it's encouraging to hear that legislation is moving forward to incorporate digital assets into the United States economy, I sure do hope you're not picking winners and losers. Did I hear correctly that Michael Saylor has an integral role in drafting this legislation? The same man who's leveraged up to his mother's ears in Bitcoin? The same man who said there is no other asset but Bitcoin? Well, I can assure you, your proof of work maxi bubble will pop, just like Michael Saylor did in the dot-com bubble. If you don't get input from Emmer, Rosie Rios, Chris Larson, Charles Hoskinson, and people alike. Because we the people want a level playing field. And you work for we the people. And this is the United States of America. So let's do it right and stop playing games.
We need to send the cool guy to Congress on a weekend so that he can be extra cool and wine and dine them and make them understand. Good stuff from the cool guy. Now, this guy's creating some drama in the LBC. Actually, that's Snoop's LBC. He's creating drama in the XRP. And that is Bruce Fenton. Now, let me go ahead and tell you, this guy I know because I've been around. He's trying to tweak the XRP community to get some attention. That's okay. I'm going to give him some attention in this one video. The SEC doesn't need to prove it's a security. This is what he said. The SEC doesn't need to prove it's a security in court. They need to prove their case against Ripple and execs in court, but they don't need to prove something is a security. The SEC has the authority to interpret rules and definitions. Their guidance stands unless overturned. And Jeremy Hogan says, whoever this has it exactly wrong. Just take everything he says, travel into opposite land, and he is spot on. We don't see Jeremy Hogan go at it very often, so it's great when we see a Twitter fight and Jeremy Hogan jumps in. And then he says, you're a lawyer and you're claiming that if the SEC says something is a security that exchanges can sell it anyway. Can you put that in writing? Yes, when the SEC says something is a security, exchanges can still sell it. See the discussion in Tetragon versus Ripple. And then Hogan goes on, vote for him if you think it's a good idea to let quasi-government agencies unilaterally declare things on a whim, and then it's up to the citizens to prove otherwise. Then we've got John Deaton. Now, it looks like John Deaton is replying to Jeremy Hogan. I don't think he was. I think he's replying to this Bruce Fenton guy. He says, maybe you should read the SEC's motion to dismiss the writ of mandamus I filed. The SEC stated it doesn't determine what is or isn't a security because that is up to the court. It also said that it didn't direct the exchanges to delist XRP, and I should sue or complain to them. So, and then we had J.W. Veer, who was on the the Investment Advisory Council at the SEC. He says this is completely nonsensical take on securities law. And then this guy says, yes, so XRP Armory says, can you explain how it's legal for unlicensed exchange to sell XRP in the U.S.? Not just them, many securities lawyers. XRP is not a security, and Ripple did not engage in sales of a security. So J.W. Veer is once again one of the good guys. Now he's got a real problem because TAIG has smelled what this guy is cooking, this Bruce Fenton guy, and went back and started digging. So Bruce, I'm sorry. Now, I'm not even weighing in on the discussion. That's not my point. But Bruce, these guys are now they're now going to go sniff you out. It's like you've just put a rag with blood on it in front of a hound dog. You realize that? So now these guys are going to go. So if I don't know if you want to call it fame, but you're about to be Twitter famous because these guys, anything you've ever done on Twitter or anywhere in the crypto space, TAIG and friends are about to go and show the world. So I hope that's what you wanted because you're about to get it. And I have no idea what they're going to come up with, but here's where they start. Bruce Fenton is very hard to believe. You hope Ripple wins huge. Seeing some of your tweets, I believe you are only fighting for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Can you please prove me wrong? There are millions of us that want to believe you. And I think this is him right here. And again, I'm not weighing in. I haven't even looked into this guy yet. Okay, I don't know anything about this guy. Here he says, I hope Ripple wins huge. If I'm elected, I'll do everything I can to dismantle the SEC. And then TAIG's gone through, and I haven't even looked through all that stuff. Now, here's what's interesting, what I do want to show you. So, same guy, Bruce Fenton, goes on to Twitter and does a Twitter live. And guess who pops up? Roger Veer. For those of you that don't know, Roger Veer was one of the original investors in Ripple when Jed McCaleb was still there, okay? And Roger Veer pops up in his Twitter live. Now, another piece of inside baseball, when I was in Singapore at Ripple Swell 2019, I was in a room with David Schwartz and several of the Ripple people, okay? Roger Veer was in that room, and I remember looking over and seeing David Schwartz talking to Roger Veer. So I think Roger Veer is friends with a lot of these guys to this day. He may not have seen them in a long time, but on that particular at that particular event, Roger Veer showed up, and I remember talking to him and actually asking him things. He was a very nice guy. He's actually a jiu-jitsu expert, for those of you that don't know. But he's a very, very nice guy, very smart guy. I mean, I felt stupid talking to all these guys. But anyway, listen to this. This is Roger Veer in the Twitter Live.
And I'd like to complain about the SEC, too, while we're at it.
How's it going, man?
I was literally... Nice
Good to see you.
Good luck with the big campaign.
How are you? Thanks.
So, yeah, I've been busy trying to build peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. And one of those attempts was XRP and Ripple back in the earlier days. I think it was 2011 or 2012. I literally put up the first dollar in to help make it. Jed McCaleb came up with the idea, and his idea initially was Bitcoin that...
Hold on. Okay, sorry, got sidetracked. Had something come up. Here we go.
His idea initially was Bitcoin that didn't need mining. And so I put up the money for that. And it was, over $100,000 at the time. And now here we are. Ripple and XRP is this big thing around the world. But the SEC is busy making it so that people like me never want to invest in anything in the U.S. ever again. And pushing down the value of XRP and the value of all the people that own stock in the company itself. And just like, what a disaster. The SEC pretends that they're there to protect consumers. They're doing the exact opposite. They're destroying the value of all the consumers or all the investors out there. It's really a shame. And if I was, I think the world would be better off if we just replaced the SEC with Consumer Reports. They do a better job of protecting customers that are funded voluntarily. So that's my early morning rant for everyone. Thanks.
Oh, 100%. I mean, absolutely. It's like, especially in an age of information, these guys came up with these laws in an era before computers. They were a bad idea then. Yeah, but what hits me the most from what you said, you were an American entrepreneur. You were an American, and now you've built a lot of stuff, and you've invested a lot of money, maybe more than in Bitcoin terms, definitely more than anybody. You're the biggest investor in the entire space in Bitcoin terms for sure, and one of the biggest dollar investors. I mean, and you've done a lot of stuff. And here, what did you do? You're out of this place. You're not going to work here. You're not doing anything here. You could have been building however many jobs that you've provided since I've known you, hundreds of jobs, and millions of dollars to contractors and web developers and a million other things. And you could have been giving that to companies back in California where you used to live.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if I can add to that, like I'm still busy investing in all sorts of stuff. But one of the first things I ask is, are you incorporated in the U.S.? And if the answer is yes, then they have a much, much higher bar for me to be willing to invest anything in them. It's just the headaches and the hassle. And like another example, I helped put up some of the seed money to start Zcash as well. I'm not living in the U.S. They're registered in the state of Colorado. Every single year I'm having to fill out state of Colorado tax forms because I put up some of the seed money to start Zcash there as well. And it just makes me not want to have anything to do with any of this. They just, criminals are going to scam people and do bad things regardless of the law, and the good people are going to treat their investors well regardless of the law. So I think the SEC is just a big giant organization that's looking to justify their own existence by stirring up trouble like they are with Ripple and everything else. And again, the Consumer Reports magazine and their website, I'm sure, would do a far better job of protecting investors out there in the world and consumers than the SEC has done. The SEC is literally harming investors and harming consumers out there by their rules and regulations.
Can't say I disagree with him. Now check this out. We know that Gary Gensler has absolutely no time for John Deaton and his 67,000 plus XRP holders. Remember, these are the same people that Gary Gensler, he wakes up and goes to sleep thinking about protecting you and me, according to him. But he doesn't have any time for us. But here's who he does have time for. That would be JP Morgan, which is the same company that was working with the Ethereum founders since before the public mainnet was launched of Ethereum, right? And was a security issuance to disguise whales that Joseph Lubin says he helped disguise the whales. But this is the latest public calendar for Gary Gensler. At least we can see his. We can't see Bill Hinman's calendar. That's still hidden from us. The hidden calendar. That's a thumbnail. This is the one you can see. But anyway, look who he's got a phone call with Jamie Dimon here. So he allotted 15 minutes for Jamie Dimon there, and then here's Jamie Dimon here. So Jamie Dimon has gotten 45 minutes of time at least that we know of for the last month. We've gotten 0. I want to finish with this pro tip: get your coins off the exchanges. Coinbase is freezing hiring, rescinding job offers. Well, I've gotten my digital assets off of Coinbase, and I put mine on a Ledger Nano S. I'll put it in the top of the description of this video, a link to the Ledger Nano S if you want to get one, because this is what I did. I took all mine off in the last couple of weeks that I had on there. I didn't have all of it on there anyway, but I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Get your digital assets off the exchanges and put it on something like a Ledger Nano S.